And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. This is your boy Fly Island Guy. Today we are back in San Leonard or St. Leonard in New Brunswick. And today is going to be a pretty interesting one because I didn't think I'd be doing island flying in Canada, but that's where we're going to be heading today. Oh, that's what we're going to be doing today. So today we'll be heading over to, I believe it's called one sec. Ile de la Magdalen. I don't know how to pronounce it. Ile de la Magdalen. It's kind of like Madeline, and that's an island. It's pretty much in between. Actually, I can show you. It's the wrong window. It's pretty much in between Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, and Quebec, or New Brunswick. But I think it's actually a part of Quebec. I'm not 100% sure, so we're gonna look into that more kind of once we get in the air. But yeah, we're pretty much going to be heading here, and weather-wise, we are looking at not the best weather. There's a bunch of snow in the area. In fact, currently right now here in Halifax, it's actually snowing outside. It's snowing pretty heavily. And as you can see, there's a bunch of snow over Nova Scotia right now. And the snowfall is moving into Ile de Madeleine here. So right now, the weather over there, the winds are out of 170 at 15 knots, gusting to 21 knots. Visibility is 20 miles. Clouds a few 7,200 feet, broken at 2,600 feet. And I have a very sinking suspicion that over the next hour and 22 minutes, that's how long the flight is, that this snow is going to overtake. So it's going to make for an interesting approach. I'm going to be doing the RNAV runway 26 approach. We were given a visual approach before, but I am not doing that, not with the potential weather in the area. So let's get into the plan. Today we're basically taking 3 passengers and some cargo over there. So we're not really too full today. Got about half a tank of gas. We want to just make it really simple. So yeah, we're not running too heavy today, so hopefully things should be alright when we take off. As I said, flying time is going to be 1 hour and 22 minutes. And hopefully it's not going to be too bad. So we're going to get ready to start the engines. So let's go to fuel pump standby, ignition on, and we will do low motor start. Everything's looking good. Gonna apply fuel.
Your flight will be monitored until you land and shut down the engines.
Did not turn the beacon on, so I'm gonna get dinged for that. Yep. I normally just turn the beacon on before I even start the engine because I literally always forget to do it. Alright, we'll move our RPM lever to maximum. And the temperature right now is -8 degrees C. So we'll go ahead and get our keto heat on as well. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the airport map up here for St. Leonard. And so I know where to taxi. Alright. Sorry folks, give me a sec, just pulling up the correct charts. Alright. And here in St. Leonard, we are departing runway 36, which is going to be off to our right. Alright, now that we have the engine started, gonna get the aux bus on. Let's go ahead, set our temperature. Let's turn this fan down, it's way too loud. Temperature down to 21 degrees C. And we will turn the defrost on as well, just to keep our windshield clear. Alright, so now that we have the engine started, we'll go and get the starter off, ignition off, generator and alternator can come on, and fuel pump can go to standby. Alright. And I think we're good to go. Alright, so let's start our taxi. Set our flaps for takeoff as well. Alright, double check, there's nothing coming to our left. Right is good as well. Hope everyone is having a great day today. This video is being shot in real time, which means that it's about 7:25 in the morning. Just kind of came back from the gym, so I decided to kind of do a flight today. So I've actually been excited to get back in the Kodiak. In fact, just to fly in general. It's actually been a little while since I've done a flight, and I have a few videos pre-recorded, so I've pretty much just been releasing those. Alright, so let's get lined up here on the runway. Alright, so let's go fuel condition lever to max. Don't know why my mouse keeps disappearing. It's kind of annoying. Come on. Sorry, one sec. Jeez. Zoom. Yeah, my mouse kept disappearing. I couldn't find it. Alright, we're gonna go high idle. And landing lights can come on. Strobes can come on as well. And I believe that's about it. We're good to go. Actually, I'm going to get our heading mode set up. Not really in the mood to do a lot of hand flying today. So once we get up to about 1,000, I'm going to switch on the autopilot. Alright folks, time to take off. Set our takeoff power. Takeoff power set. Rotate.
Airborne time log.
Off into the wild blue yonder we go. Definitely not much to see out here. Lots of just snow and trees, and that's about it. Gotta bring the flaps up. Good to go. Alright. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get our yaw damper autopilot on, and I'll go flight level change as well. And we can actually start our right turn to get on track. Do about 105 knots on climb out. That should give us a decent rate of climb. And ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a very, very good morning. Let's just enjoy the scenery. Also, just updated Flight Simulator to the latest version. Just trying to figure out what that is, because it was just had the update, but they've fixed a bunch of issues. I don't remember exactly which version it is, but they've introduced the new propeller controls. Sorry, all the propeller dynamics and everything, which was kind of one of the big updates they had planned. So anybody who's flying one of the kind of default turboprops, definitely give that a try. And I'd love to see kind of how well that's all working. I haven't really flown any of the default turboprop aircraft in a while. I may consider it soon though, because I want to get into Navigraph. I want to get Davatsian, and I just want to start with an aircraft I'm actually comfortable with before I kind of move into flying something like this, or maybe the CJ4. Alright, let's dial back the RPMs so we can climb at about 2,000 RPMs. That's 2030. Alright. Cruising altitude for today will be 13,000 feet. As I said, as usual, Simreef normally kind of gives us that same altitude every single time. I think it's normally 13,000 or 12,000, which is a little, I guess, unrealistic. I'm hoping to kind of get more of a lower altitude at some point, but it's cool right now because where we're flying is really not much to see anyway. I know I saw as well in the patch notes that the heavy clouds are going to be like a lot thicker. That's one of the changes that they made. So that's something to look out for as well. Alright, so now that we're on track, let's go ahead and let's take a look at some information on Ile de la Madeleine. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right at all. And I thought that being in Canada means that I'll be able to pronounce some of these places, but not really. So, just trying to get some information here. Let's see. I'll go to Wikipedia for this. I normally try to kind of step away from Wikipedia to get information on places, but man, this will do. Alright, so where we're heading today, so Les Îles de la Madeleine, aka the Magdalen Islands. They're a small archipelago in the Gulf of St. Lawrence with a land area of 205.53 square kilometers, about 80 square miles. And while part of the province of Quebec, the islands are in fact close to the maritime provinces, as I mentioned, Newfoundland and PEI. The islands are considered a part of the Mi'kmaq, or the Mi'kmaq Nation, who called the islands Menagosinog. Administratively, the islands are part of the Gaspésie Île de Madeleine region of the Canadian province of Quebec. The islands form the territory equivalent to a regional municipality and the census division of Les Îles de la Madeleine. What's up with these clouds here? That's not good. That does not look good at all. The geographical code is 01. The islands are coextensive with the urban agglomeration of Les Îles de la Madeleine, which is divided into two municipalities. Les Îles de la Madeleine, which has a population of 12,291, which is the central municipality, and Gros-Îles, which has a population of 490. And as of whenever this article was written, the mayors are Jonathan Lapierre and Rose Elmond Clark, respectively. So within Donland, these islands were once called Menquit by the Mi'kmaq Nation, meaning islands battered by waves. And around the mid-19th century, as Mi'kmaq Simk, Mi'kmaq language, shifted, the name changed to become Menagosinog, reflecting islands battered by the surf. So although not a distinct district with the Mi'kmaq, the archipelago falls within the territorial bounds of the Mi'kmaq homeland. So there's 8 major islands: Amherst, Grand Entrée, Grindstone, Gros-Îles, House Harbor, Pointe-aux-Loup, Entry Island, and Brion. All except Brion being uninhabited. There are several other tiny islands that are also considered to be part of the archipelago, or archipelago. I think I pronounced that wrong a lot. Bird Rock, Seal Island, Île Paquet, and Rocher du Coeur Moor. So the interiors of the islands were once completely covered with pine forests, and an ancient salt dome underlies the archipelago. The salt's inherent buoyancy forces the uplift of the overlying Permian red sandstone, and nearby salt domes are believed to be sources of fossil fuels. So rock salt is also mined on the islands. 1534, the explorer Jacques Cartier which is a very famous name here in Canada, was the first known European to visit the islands. However, Mi'kmaq have been visiting the island for hundreds of years as part of a seasonal subsistence migration, probably to harvest the abundant walrus population. A number of archaeological sites have been excavated in the archipelago. So the first concerted settlement attempt was made by English Puritan separatist Francis Johnson in 1597, which failed. And the archipelago was named in 1663 by Francois Doublé, the seigneur of the island, after his wife Madeleine Fontaine. In 1765, the islands were inhabited by 22 French-speaking Acadians and their families, and they were working and hunting walruses for a British trader, Richard Gridley. Many inhabitants of the Magdalen Islands still fly the Acadian flag and identify as both Acadian and Quebecois. So if you've never seen the Acadian flag, it pretty much looks like a French flag with a yellow star on it. And as you know, the Acadians have a very French background. So the islands were administered as part of the British colony of Newfoundland from 1763 to 1774, and they became part of Quebec by the Quebec Act. And some of the islanders are descendants of survivors of the more than 400 shipwrecks on the islands. Some of the historic houses were built from wood that was from the shipwrecks. And the islands have some of Quebec's oldest English-speaking settlements, although most Anglophones have long either assimilated with the Francophone population or migrated elsewhere. English-speaking settlements are found at Old Harry, Gros-Île, and Entry Island. The islands are known for a children's French camp. Activities include sandcastle competitions and a night alone in the woods. And to improve the safety of ships, the government has constructed lighthouses on the islands. They indicate navigable channels and have reduced the number of shipwrecks, for many old hulks are found on the beach and under the waters. Until the 20th century, the islands were completely isolated during the winter since the pack ice made the trip to the mainland impossible by boat. The island had no means of communication with the mainland. An underwater cable was installed to enable communication by telegraph, but in winter 1910, the cable broke and the islands were again isolated. Residents sent an urgent request for help to the mainland by writing letters and sealing them inside a molasses barrel on puncheon, which they set adrift. It reached the shore on Cape Breton Island, where residents notified the government of the emergency, and the government set an icebreaker to bring aid. Within a few years, the government constructed new wireless telegraph stations on the Magalen Islands to ensure winter communication. The puncheon became famous as a symbol of survival, and every tourist shop sells replicas. At one time, large walrus herds were found at the islands, but overhunting had eliminated them by the late 18th century. And in the 21st century, the island's beaches provide a habitat for the endangered piping plover and roseate tern. So in terms of the climate, the maritime climate of the Magdalen Islands is markedly different from that of the mainland. The huge water mass that circles the archipelago both temper the weather and create milder conditions in each season. So Halifax kind of deals with something similar because we're mainly surrounded by water. We have milder winters. On the islands, winter is mild, spring is cool, summer has a few heat waves, and fall is typically warm. The Magdalen Islands have the least annual frost in Quebec. The warm breezes of summer persist well into September and sometimes early October. However, under the Köppen climate classification, its climate is humid continental because its winters average far below freezing by maritime standards. Seasonal lag is strong because of the freezing water and the time that it takes for the Gulf to warm up. Also in winter, sea ice occasionally forms, impeding offshore communications and activities. So the highest temperature ever recorded was 31.1 degrees C or 88 degrees Fahrenheit on 31st of July 1949, and the lowest temperature was negative 27.2 degrees C on February 1891. The Magdalen Islands have warmed 2.3 degrees C since the late 19th century, twice the global average. As a result, the residents are facing a growing number of problems as extreme climate change transforms the island and water around them. The sea ice that used to encase and protect the islands from most winter storms is shrinking at a rate of about 555 square miles annually. Parts of the shoreline have eroded into the sea at a rate as much as 14 feet per year in the 2010s, and important roads at risk of washouts and important infrastructure, including the hospital and city halls, sit near deteriorating cliffs. And recently the sea has risen at a rate of 7 millimeters per decade, threatening to contaminate the fresh water aquifers. So last thing to talk about is the economy. Tourism is a major component of the island's economy, as they have many kilometers of white sand beaches and steadily eroding sandstone cliffs. Also, they are a destination for bicycle camping, sea kayaking, windsurfing, and kite surfing. And during the winter months, beginning in mid-February, ecotourists visit to observe newborn and young harp seal pups on the pack ice in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, which surrounds the islands. However, the ice cover has reduced recently, and the observation season has been cancelled several times. The island is home to Canadian salt company Celine Mines, which produces road salt for use in Quebec, Atlantic Canada, and the United States eastern seaboard. Opened in 1982, the salt mine and plant is located in Gros-Île and extracts salt from an underground mine 30 meters below Grande Entrée Lagoon. It produces 1 million tons, or 1 million long tons, 1 million tons of salt and employs 200 people. And although fishing is a traditional occupation, lobster have become a more lucrative local business. It was once common for lobstermen to haul in 15,000 pounds during a 9-week season that begins each spring, but now it's not unusual to bring home twice that amount or more. This may be due to climate change that has warmed the surrounding waters to some extent, which has yielded increasing lobster harvests. So, the last thing, in terms of transportation, the Coopérative de Transport Maritime et Aérien operates a ferry service between terminals in Surrey, Prince Edward Island, and Capel Mill on the islands. The CTMA also operates a seasonal cruise ferry service between the islands of Montreal, which sits on a river surrounded by mainland Quebec. And the Magdalen Island Airport, which is where we're heading now, offers scheduled air service to the mainland of Quebec and seasonally to the French overseas collectivity of Saint-Pierre and Miquelon. So that's a little bit of information on the Magdalen Islands. I'm not going to call it by its French name anymore because I keep messing it up. We are well on our way. As you can see, looking here at NextRad, there's a bunch of rough weather coming up in front of us. So, gonna have to keep an eye on that. And I'm pretty sure it's probably not going to let up as we get closer. So, it's gonna probably make for a bit of an interesting approach. And just hoping that everything turns out safely. Alright? So for now, I'm just gonna go and kind of get a couple things done. And when we come back, we'll be starting our descent to the Magdalen Islands. And we're gonna be shooting the RNAV approach. So let's keep our fingers crossed, folks, alright? This is your boy Flyland Guy. I'll check you all shortly. Alright? Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is, I was going to say this is your boy Flying Guy. I was going to do the exact same intro I did to start with. That's the struggle of kind of breaking up the recording of a flight into multiple pieces, is that you tend to think that every start of a new recording is the start of the video. So my apologies for that. We have started our descent into the Magdalen Islands. And as you can see, things are not looking too good outside right now. We're pretty much stuck in the soup, and I don't really know. Well, I'm looking at the weather report here now. So, essentially, I don't know if I showed the actual windy.com initially, but initially this kind of precipitation front was behind the island. It was really close, and I said that I was a little worried because I know that the snow right now is kind of moving eastward, and of course it's exactly what's happened. So if you look at the cloud cover, yeah, cloud cover is kind of really heavy all the way in. So that's making for basically not too much to see outside on approach. But in terms of the weather, if you look off here to the left, the winds are at 150 at 20 knots. Visibility is 20 miles. Light snow in the area. Clouds broken at 3,500 feet. Overcast at 26,000. Temperature is -3. But the pressure is falling rapidly, which means that the weather is going to really deteriorate there. So we need to keep an eye on that. To tell you how bad it is, right now we are coming through 5,800 feet, and we started out at 12,000, pretty much, sorry, 13,000, pretty much the exact same conditions. So we've gone down almost 8,000 feet, and we're still stuck heavily in the clouds. The trip overall has been pretty bumpy, but we did have a nice tailwind. At one point we were doing about 200 knots, which is amazing. So looks like our tailwind has become more of a crosswind at this point, so we're not really getting that advantage of the winds aloft right now. So let's take a quick look at our approach for today. So initially, well, Simbrief gave us visual runway 25. There wasn't, say right now in here there's an RNAV option for all the runways. I wasn't seeing this in the NXI, so I decided to take the RNAV runway 16 approach instead, which will have us coming in here at Durad. So right now we're descending to 1,400 feet. Really simple approach. So we're going to come in to Durad and then kind of turn right and then make the right turn again for final, and hopefully capture the glide slip Aranga and descend towards the runway. Yeah, we are really heavy in the soup right now, and outside of that, it's probably not much to see outside on top of that. Yeah. Nothing outside. If you actually go outside and take a look, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we also did have some icing as well. that we were dealing with. It is still pretty cold here. So we have our window heat on right now to get rid of the icing on the windshield. So pretty much good to go as far as that's concerned. Keeping our barometer adjusted as we're going down, since the weather did say that the pressure is falling pretty rapidly. If we look here on the, I forget what the name of this is, artificial scenery. I don't remember what this is called. It's a layout. I don't remember, but anyway, this is the Magdalen Islands, kind of right in front of us, coming up here. So we're actually 4.5 nautical miles away from this Durand waypoint. If you look here in Navigraph, we're actually approaching it now. So what's going to happen, or what I'm hoping is going to happen, is that when we get onto the glide path, that's when things are going to open up. Because as you saw from the report, we're still VFR conditions outside, so or it's still VFR conditions at the airport, so we should be good to go. Oh, there we are. Yep, look at that water. You see the white caps? So yeah, things are pretty rough right now. We're gonna make the most of it though, and hopefully get down in one piece. There we go. Now we're coming out the clouds. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna probably get the first notch of flaps down. Don't really remember at what speed we do that. There's normally something that tells us that. I don't really know where it is. I know it's around there somewhere though. But that's fine, I'll just wing it. Okay. Started that left turn onto, well, from our initial approach fix, we're going to be heading over to Epsar. We're 14,000 feet. I'm going to drop that first notch of flaps. I'm going to try and come in for a nice controlled approach. But it's going to be a nice soft landing. Let's just assume it's not going to be. I'm going to adjust my barometer again. 2983. That's getting close to what we're seeing in windy.com. So I keep hitting the mic. So I think I mentioned it maybe in a previous video, I don't know, but I've changed my setup here, got a new desk and everything, so I'm still trying to adjust. And I really wanted to put my mic somewhere where it's not going to interfere with my hand movements, but I don't know where it's at right now. I might have to switch it over to the other side. But yeah, where it's at right now, I keep bumping it with my hand, so I may have to move it back over to where I had it before. Alright, 1.5 nautical miles out from Epsar, so we should be making a right turn shortly. and the airport should be in front of us at that point. As you can see, you see the white caps in the water like that. That means it's fairly windy out. Oh, there we go. It's like I don't see the runway at all. Runway is right there. At least I think that's all we're aiming for. Okay, if that's not the runway, I'm going to be really embarrassed. No, it looks like we're just lining up. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get the approach mode hooked up. But that is not it. Approach mode, there we go. It looks like we're dealing with a 40 knot headwind right now. So you have to be really, really careful with that. Because right now our ground speed's 80 knots and we're our indicator speed is 113. I guess we're sort of crabbed into the wind right now. That's why the runway is more off to our left. But I don't really understand why we're crabbed that hard. Because I guess it's because we have the headwind is so strong. But it's not really pushing us that far to the side. It's not really coming direct from our side, so yeah, I'm not too sure why the crab is this extreme. If you see, normally the runway will be lined up kind of right here, but right now runway is off to almost at like our 11 o'clock. So once we capture the glide path, I'm going to go max RPM and we'll get fully configured. Alright, flaps to 20. Glide path, snowflake or diamond or whatever you want to call it, it's moving down now, so we should be tilting down any second now. Kind of once it reaches the middle. Gonna pull up the airport map as well. Coming in on runway 16. We'll have to taxi down past the runway intersection, and there should be a turnoff on our right, so that's good. I'm curious as to why there's no snow here, which kind of makes me think that any second the weather's going to change into something very bad. I hope it doesn't. Alright, we've started our descent towards the runway. I'm going to set RPMs to max. And let's go full flaps as well. This is where they better not change a one short final, otherwise I'm gonna be pissed.
Queen 160 and 23 knots.
Thanks a lot. Alright, so it was really good to make that change for the approach, because now we have like a direct headwind, which is exactly what we want where we're landing. Now, I know as soon as I disconnect the autopilot, things are going to go haywire, but let's go ahead and do that. Let's just kind of hold what we were doing before. And our approach speed is still very slow because of that headwind. So really got to keep that in mind. So I'm going to give it a little bit more throttle. And got 3,000 feet to play with. It's just not an issue for this aircraft. Back up a little bit. Floating a lot.
Landing time log.
So I'll turn off right here. It's all good. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Magdalen Islands. On behalf of all of us here in the Fly Island guy, you know, just joking. Alright, so let's just pause right here for a second. I see our marshals right there. Alright, so just gonna reset the trim. And go taxi lights on, strobes and landing lights can come off. Windshield heat can come off as well. Don't really need that. And gonna go to low idle. Gonna try not to shut the aircraft engine off like we always do. All right. Oh, still got the pulse lights on. Shut off. There we go. Okay, didn't expect that. There's a huge hump here on the runway. It's a very weird spot to be parked. All right, there we go. Beacon can come off. Taxi lights can come off as well. Since we're at the airport, we could switch next right off too. And that is it, folks.
Engine off time log. Flight is finished. It has been monitored by On Air.
Alright, so let's hop in the back. Let's get this door open. Forgot my flaps, but that's fine. Alright, watch everybody freeze because it's so cold. Alright, folks, and that is it. We are here safely in Magdalen Islands. This was actually one heck of a trip. In terms of the turbulence and everything on the way, yeah, the weather has not been very good here, but the good thing is that we escaped the snow, so happy about that. We're going to continue our Canada tour. Not too sure which way we're going to be heading next. Let's see. Sure, based on the distance that we've traveled, it's a possibility that we may get a job in Newfoundland, or maybe we can go like northern Quebec. I don't know. We shall see. I don't want to come back down to Halifax again, though. I just want to kind of keep it out of there since we've had a couple flights in the area. All right. Anyways, folks, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that good stuff. New videos coming every few days. Man, I love doing these flights. Look at the train of vehicles trying to sneak up on me. Alright, folks. That's it for me. Stay safe, and most importantly, stay fly. It's your boy Flyland Guy. I'm out. Peace.